Hey, it's JMV. Thanks for listening to my podcast brought to you by Connecticut Water. Connecticut has a revolutionary leak detection system. You got to learn about this and how to save $1,500. ConnecticutIndy.com for all the details.
But on the Eddie Moore Automotive Group hotline, Mike Chappell of CBS 4 and Fox 59. I'm going to leave the schedule with the conversation alone just for a second. I stated this. Somebody had asked about the draft next week, and because it looks plentiful at the end of round number 1 with defensive linemen, and I told Kevin Bowen yesterday, be careful because I think that they like what they have along the defensive front a lot more than what a lot of people believe they do at the Colts complex.
Oh, I don't disagree with that. But I keep coming back to the one thing that Chris Ballard has harped on is you can never have enough offensive linemen and you can never have enough defensive linemen. So I've learned to take him at his word. And I don't know that they take an offensive lineman high unless, like we talked maybe last week or the week before, unless you decide that, Anthony Costanzo is not your left tackle in 2 years. But I'm still locked into that defensive lineman. You'd love it to be a pass rusher, which those guys are probably gone, the primary ones. Secondary, would they take a safety in the first round again?
You can't be, you can't feel comfortable about what you have, and not maybe for play, for just to be available. That has to be a major concern. These are swing seasons for a couple of dudes back there. There's no question.
Well, and that's the problem. That's what we've talked to is whatever they sat there in February in their early draft meetings and personnel, and they say, this is what we need. Okay, we need a receiver. We need a pass rusher. We need secondary corner safety. What have they done in free agency or even re-signing guys to tell you that they've addressed those? And again, long term, let's say 3 or 4 years. What have they done? Nothing. Justin Houston is a short-term fix, which you hope's a good short-term fix for 2 years. Funches is 1 year. Gathers is 1 year. Matthias Farley and the Tenders 1 year. Now Pierre Desir's was that a 3-year deal? I think it was. So by and large, what you've done is address the short term, which is fine. That's what you do. That's why if this template that Ballard's using works, then you go heavy in the draft, you re-sign your guys when it's time, and you use free agency to sort of, spackle in those holes that you have. If you get lucky, you can get a guy for 3 or 4 years, like Jabal Shared, Eric Waldman back in the day. Good for you. But by and large, it's that 1 year, and we'll see if Justin Houston's here next year. He probably will be, barring an injury. But I just don't know that what they've done should impact what they need to do or what they planned on doing. I think the encouraging thing is that in two quick years, Ballard and his staff have gotten the roster to the point that you're come next Thursday. It's like, holy crap, we have to get this position addressed. In the last couple of years, it was, boy, we have to get something done here. Well, you really don't have that now. So you can be more versatile or more selective in what you're doing, and just about anything you get's going to help you, but it's not that glaring need. So, but again, my problem being a fake GM is I get locked into what I think, and it takes a lot to change my mind. I still think those top 3 picks in my mind are defensive line, wide receiver, and maybe safety, corners, safety more in some order. And from what you hear, it's a very deep receiver draft, more so bottom of round 1 and round 2 and round 3. So I think that's where you can get a receiver. I was talking with the guys at the radio station today when we did our podcast, and, Blues on podcast if you're interested. But it's do you take a late round pick on a receiver, a 6 or a 7 or even a 5? My point is no. Now, if you want a receiver like I do, that's going to be a guy in 3 or 4 years that's going to be ready to take over for T.Y. Hilton, I'm all for that. But if you look at a developmental receiver, well, look who you've got. You've got Reese Fountain, you got Deion Kane, You got Marcus Johnson. You've got, I would still say Chester Rogers and Pascal. So you've got plenty of guys. Krishan Hogan, Steve Ishmael. You've got plenty of guys who are sort of those 5th, 6th, 7th round developmental guys. So I guess I wouldn't waste a pick on that guy. But if you think you can get a receiver who's going to be a guy, whether it's a 1 or not, or just a solid 2, I would really do that. But I just don't know that they need to worry about additional body depth at receiver because they got plenty of guys that you hope they're going to be something. So I don't know why you would need to add another one of those guys into the mix. But top end talent, I'm all for that.
And I hope that some of these guys step up and make a lot more of a productive season than we might think sitting here right now.
I agree.
Mike Chappell's on the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline. All right, let's look at the schedule here really quick. Start at the Chargers and then go to Nashville in week number 2, the 8th and the 15th of September, respectively. Is that to you as difficult as a lot of people suggest it to be?
Well, I think what we're going to be doing, barring an opening season opening upset, we're going to be sitting here after the Chargers game thinking, like we did last year, well, that second game's like a must-win. It won't be to the extent that it was last year.
You're talking to the right guy, by the way, too. I'm Mr. Must-Win.
But if you can come out of those first 2 games, with the 1-1, get the game, because you play Tennessee well, you just do. And I still have questions. That's a franchise that sort of is leveled off and is just sort of there at the 7-9, 8-8, 9-7 area, probably because they can't get anything more out of their quarterback. I mean, is this another big year for Marcus Mariota? But if you can get through those first 2 games 1-1, and I don't mean just to blow off the Chargers game because who knows how good they're going to be. But boy, then the schedule it's conducive to really getting on a nice roll. Atlanta at home, Oakland at home. I mean, if you're playing well, that's those 2 wins. It's easy to sit here and do this now. Kansas City in week 5 is going to be tough, no question. You get the bye. And in 4 of your next 5, home Houston, home Denver, at Pittsburgh, home Miami, home Jacksonville. I mean, if you're going to do anything this season that you want to do as far as building on last year, right there you need to be, what would that be, like 7-2? And it's certainly doable. It would be easier to do that than, not losing those first 2. 0-2 is just, go back and look, and they'll cart out all the stats about what 0-2 teams, the odds of making the playoffs, this, that, and the other. And if you want to do, win the division and go deep in the playoffs, then that first half of the season, before you go in November and go into Houston, it's just conducive to getting it done. The home schedule, I like the home schedule to where you can really make hay at home. What's the tough game at home? I don't know. Atlanta, Oakland, Houston, Denver, Miami, Jacksonville. Miami's going to be trash. Tennessee, Carolina, you don't know. On the road's a different matter. You're getting most of your top-tier quarterbacks on the road. Phillip Rivers, and then at Kansas City with Mahomes, and at Pittsburgh with Roethlisberger. Deshaun Watson's what he is. Drew Brees in December in New Orleans. But I like the schedule. It gives you a chance if you can get past it. It's funny, you got a really tough openers with 2 on the road and then 3 of the 4 on the road to finish. But if this team is going to be better, we take injuries out of the equation. If this team is poised to take that next step with young players getting better, with the quarterback being back, that second year, which it should benefit him even more to where he's really concentrating all on football and not rehab. I think the schedule, I just kind of clicked down each game, and I had them 11-5, and that's just off the cuff looking at it. So I like the schedule as long as these guys take that next step, which they've they should do that, barring any catastrophic injury.
If they don't go 11-5, if they don't do better than what they did a year ago record-wise, we all going to look at that incredibly negatively. And I know that all figures into just how they finish. But as we've talked about before, I think this is going to be the best year we have ever seen within the AFC South division. Now, that is if Jacksonville gets its act together, and it looks like that their act is not together just yet with some of the jackassery that's going on. But I think if that falls into line, this could be the best season within the division we've ever seen.
Yeah, what was it? We went back to, was it 06 or 0? What did we go back?
I thought it was 08. But I could
Maybe
be wrong.
It was when the worst team was 7-9. Didn't 3 teams make the playoffs, and 1 team was 7-9 or whatever? And I would argue again, this is going to be one of the tougher divisions. And the questions again, my questions. I expect the Colts to be better. I expect Houston to be better. Nick Foles. I mean, but it's so much. As much as we enjoyed piling on Blake Bortles because he was the easy pinata, it was so much more than that. With the dysfunction, with Fournette, with Jalen Ramsey. I mean, holy smokes, there was something wrong there. And then you've got Tom Coughlin coming out and sort of, everybody should be here. He has issues with his roster, I think. And again, Tennessee, at what point does Marcus Mariota, are you really concerned whether he's the guy or not? And I just keep waiting. It's funny. I was talking to a guy at the station today, and it's amazing from the Colts viewpoint. Colts fans have almost always seen the best of Blake Bortles and the worst of Marcus Mariota. It's incredible how that's worked out. And we may find out that Blake Bortles, while he wasn't the answer down there, maybe he wasn't the total problem, because with the way they constructed that roster and some of the knuckleheads they brought in there, it's got to be concerning if I'm management to say that this is my team, this is what I'm building on. And can Nick Foles be the answer? Can he be the steady force? We'll see.
Mike Chappell of CBS 4, Fox 59. He's on the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline. Things going to ramp up a lot coming up next week, and that's a good thing. So. Hey, and by the way, one final thing. I want to ask you this. One final thing. Why is it that the Colts always play prime time on the road? Is that some kind of thing? Why is that?
Someone with the team mentioned that to me yesterday, and it's been since 2015 they've had a primetime game at home. Well, that's not really accurate. It's because they've had 2 Thursday night games in Indy, but it's been since 15 since they've played primetime Sunday or Monday. It's at what point is it? It's not a coincidence. It's does the league not like Indy? I mean, I don't know, but when you're always on the road, it's tougher. It's great for the city when you're on prime time. They come out of the commercials and they show the skyline and all that. So yeah, it's pretty hard to figure. But one thing I'll say though, as far as prime time, is they need to get their act together on prime time. They're like 9-14,
yeah, no question,
with Andrew Luck. And from 2000 to 2010, they were 34-12 with Peyton. So you just got to step that up a little bit. But yeah, it's kind of squirrely that they keep getting screwed by going on the road on prime time. But that's what you got.
Pleasure, Mike. We'll talk at you next week, live from Beech Grove. Thanks, brother.
Looking forward to it.
That's Mike Chappell, CBS 4 and Fox 59. Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline. Michael writes this. Hey, JMV, one year when Boogie Down Productions came after the show, they were riding around looking for something to do. And I stopped. And my nephew and they came to my... What? Michael Warfield said Boogie Down Productions came to your house and chilled. Come on.
Bull crap.
Come on. I got to see pictures, Michael Warfield.
Bull crap.
I got to see pictures. I need evidence, Michael Warfield.
It didn't happen.
You got KRS-One in your living room? Come on. Evidence, Michael. Evidence. Big Earn, take us to a break. What do you got?
Oh, man. Phew, just woke up from a nap. I was on hold for 25 minutes.
See, why do you got to say that? You know that makes me look like a crank, right?
Hey, Tony,
why do you got
got
to say that?
Hey, Tony, answer the phone.
Now, everybody out there thinks I'm a jackass, Big Earn. I tried to get to you as quickly as possible.
And then I'm over here on 465 West, and I got to look at your damn dome and mug on the billboard over here.
Hey, what's it look like? It looks good, doesn't it? Does it look even better when it's raining?
Yeah, it's even better when it's raining. Anyway, why do we got to sit here and watch this Pacer game and watch Corey Joseph dribble 155 times before he tries to create anything?
Well, because Nate likes his defense. We'll start there.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then we got Wesley Matthews killing us in the 3 minutes. Took that 3-pointer with 14 people on it. It seems
That was off 1 foot calling glass right there. That wasn't a high percentage look.
He killed us through the last 3 minutes, man.
Big Earn, hey, can you double back and go take a picture of my billboard up there?
Not right now.
Hey,
better not do that while I'm driving.
Big Earn. My billboard of everybody's picture around town. I mean, that billboard is more handsome than anything else. It looks better than anything else.
It does look good, though. Actually,
yeah, I'm telling you. To what it was to now, that's pretty impressive. Big Earn, you call anytime. I'm sorry for the wait.
It's all right, buddy. I'm just giving you some crap.
Big Earn, making everybody think that I'm a big crank around here.
They already think that.
Do you guys think I'm a crank?
Yes.
Is Tony right? JMV, do you guys really think I'm a crank? When are you going to talk about the Mueller report? Can you imagine? I should, just for a joke. Can you imagine? Hey, coming up next, I'm going to talk about the Mueller report. Why in the world, how in the world would you want to sit through? I would rather sit through the Pacers going through a scoring drought than I would have to tell you all about the Mueller report. Tony, these guys really think I'm a jerk? Am I a noted crank?
You're a crank.
Behind my back?
In front of your back.
In my front and behind my back?
All around your chiseled features, John.
Hey, Jeff, are you dialed into the AM? You know, it's kind of funny. I get a lot of people saying, what's AM? I'm not listening. Seriously, you have to sometimes because the FM signal just, you got weather going on right now, so I can imagine how much it probably sucks. But it's going to get better, from what I'm told.
Cool.
I'm excited about it. I'm not holding my breath, but
No.
I'm not. It is going to get better.
Fingers.
From what I've been told.
Fingers aren't even crossed.
All right, let's talk with you and me. I'm going to leave you on hold for 35 minutes. No, I'm just joking. Robin Miller, other side. You, me, before 6 o'clock. If you call, if you're stuck in traffic, if you just have something to complain about, hell, you can do that too. We got tickets to give away, so sit tight on that.
And now, an ad from Mom.
Save money on your car insurance.